He walked into that council chamber expecting respect. He got a slap in the face, wrapped in a title, and a side of silence. Anakin Skywalker, war hero, chosen one. The guy who literally saved Obi-Wan, like it was a part-time job, gets handed a seat at the big table, and then told he's not actually allowed to eat. Imagine being told you're in the group project, but not allowed to touch the keyboard. That's Jedi logic for you. And right there, in that one moment, you can feel the galaxy tilt just a little closer to disaster. Like seriously, how do you look at this guy, the walking embodiment of space destiny, and say, nah, we don't trust you enough for full access? Meanwhile, Kit Fisto's out here smiling through war crimes, and nobody blinks. But Anakin gets emotional once, and suddenly it's red flag city. I mean, what did they expect? You groom a traumatized slave child into a monk warrior, then gaslight him for 10 years, and when he asks for recognition, you ghost him in front of all your friends. You didn't just deny him a title, you denied him a reason to believe in you. And Palpatine, lurking in the background like the universe's creepiest HR manager, just waited with open arms and a better offer. It's tragic, but it's also kind of hilarious in that painfully obvious way. Like watching someone walk into a door they built themselves. The Jedi were so busy trying to outmaneuver the dark side that they forgot to check their own blind spots. Anakin wasn't the problem, he was the symptom. And instead of treatment, they gave him a lecture and sent him back into battle with a fresh dose of resentment. The fall of Anakin wasn't this slow burn we like to pretend it was. It was 1,000 cracks that finally gave way when the one thing he needed was the one thing they refused to give: trust, respect, a seat that actually meant something. You give a guy the keys to the war, but not the passcode to the meeting room, and then you're surprised when he burns the place down. In this video, we're unpacking exactly why Anakin Skywalker should have been made a Jedi Master. Why the Council's refusal wasn't just a mistake, but a ticking time bomb, and how this one moment quietly sealed the fate of the Republic. We'll dive into the politics, the paranoia, the personal drama, and every layered scene that turned the Chosen One into the Council's biggest regret. Let's just start here. Why didn't they make him a master? The Chosen One, the guy who's literally prophesied to bring balance to the Force, walks into the Jedi Council chambers, and what does he get? A polite little seat next to the adults, but not at the grown-ups table. The moment Anakin hears you are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. You can practically hear 1,000 midichlorians cry out in confusion, and then suddenly get silenced. It's bizarre, right? Here's a Jedi who's been leading troops in the Clone Wars since he was 20, saved Obi-Wan's life on more than one occasion, and literally took down Count Dooku with Palpatine, watching like it was a Friday night fight night. And yet somehow, Ki-Adi-Mundi, whose main character trait has a tall head, gets to vote on Anakin's future like it's no big deal. We're supposed to believe that a guy who's already outfought half the council is somehow not ready for the title. And what's worse, the council doesn't give any real explanation. No clear reasoning, no structured mentorship plan, just a vague cloud of mistrust and political unease hanging in the air. Yoda sort of winces, Mace Windu tightens his jaw, and the rest sit there doing Jedi Sudoku in their heads. For a group claiming to value wisdom and enlightenment, this sure feels like a high school clique vote. Now add in the fact that Anakin was literally appointed to the council by the Chancellor himself. Of course, it put the Jedi on edge, but maybe instead of panicking, they could have used that moment to bring him closer into the fold. Instead, they basically told him, yeah, we want your intel, but we're not letting you in the war room. Great way to encourage loyalty, guys. And that's what makes this moment so fascinating. Not just that it happened, but that nobody in the room stopped to ask the one question that could have changed galactic history. What if we treated Anakin like a peer instead of a pawn? Okay, let's talk about the absurd hypocrisy of the Jedi Council. The same council that greenlit child soldiers, plotted secret coups, and sat on a temple full of war orphans like it was normal Tuesday business. But the one thing they draw the line at is promoting Anakin Skywalker. Really, that's the straw that breaks the moral camel's back. And Mace Windu. Don't even get me started. The guy radiates so much passive-aggressive mistrust, it's like the Force version of getting iced out in a work meeting. He never liked Anakin from day one, and wasn't shy about showing it. It didn't matter what Anakin accomplished, he was always too emotional or too dangerous. Meanwhile, the entire Clone Wars was being run by emotionally suppressed monks, and nobody saw the irony. What hurts the most is that this moment didn't just break Anakin, it shattered something sacred between him and the people he thought were his family. For all his arrogance, all his mistakes, deep down Anakin just wanted to belong. And when they denied him the rank, they weren't just denying a title, they were denying his worth. You can see it in his face. That quiet storm behind his eyes when Windu gives him the news. That wasn't just anger, that was betrayal. A boy who was ripped from his mother, raised in isolation, turned into a weapon for peace. And now, the very mentors who trained him act like he's some threat on a leash. It didn't have to be like this. If even one of them had stood up and said, "He's earned it," maybe things would have shifted. But instead, they let fear do the talking. Fear of Palpatine, fear of losing control, fear of what Anakin might become. And in that silence, Anakin became the exact thing they were afraid of. And we know how the story ends. The same temple that once trained him becomes the place he burns down. The same masters who doubted him fall to his blade. It's not just a fall from grace, it's a tragedy of wasted potential. A loss that echoes louder because it was so preventable. He was their greatest failure, not because he turned, but because he could have saved them all, and they never gave him the chance. And yet, imagine the raw magnitude of what Anakin could have been. We've seen glimpses, right? The unstoppable general who ended battles before they began. The Jedi who made even Grievous flinch. The warrior who could outfly a whole battalion of droids with one engine down and a smile on his face. The Force didn't just flow through him, it exploded out of him. Anakin didn't follow the Jedi code because he was boxed in by it. He bent the rules, broke them when necessary, but always in the service of something bigger. He was chaos and compassion in one breath, and somehow it worked. Even Obi-Wan, who was practically the human embodiment of the rulebook, knew that Anakin was something special. He might have griped, rolled his eyes, lectured endlessly, but he also trusted him in ways few others ever did. Because when Anakin was in his element, when he wasn't doubting himself or trying to prove something, he was almost unstoppable. Picture it, Anakin, as a true Jedi Master. Not a pawn of the Senate, not a weapon of war, but a leader who reshaped the Order itself. One who could challenge the doctrine, rebuild its foundations, and maybe, just maybe, bring the balance everyone talked about but no one understood. And the wild thing is, it's not too late to learn from it. Anakin's fall wasn't inevitable. It was a product of fear, rigidity, and blind obedience. And if the galaxy ever hopes to rebuild something better, the first step is admitting that the Jedi messed up. We've seen glimpses of what a reimagined Jedi path could look like. Ahsoka walking away from the Order, but still living by its values. Luke, flawed and stumbling, but trying to find meaning beyond the dogma. Even Rey, with all the chaos around her, chooses to honor the past without being shackled to it. There's hope in that. Hope that future Force users won't be judged by their emotions, but guided through them. That mentorship will mean connection, not control. That maybe the next generation won't have to choose between love and duty. And maybe that's Anakin's true legacy. Not the fire and ashes he left behind, but the warning he carved into history. That power without trust will always lead to ruin. That destiny without support is just another form of exile. If the galaxy's lucky, someone out there is listening, and choosing to build something better from the wreckage he left behind. But the truth is, they waited too long. By the time the Jedi realized what Anakin had become, he was already gone. The boy from Tatooine, the dreamer with the kind heart and reckless smile, had vanished beneath the armor, and what stood in his place was Vader. All the signs were there, all the chances to intervene, to reach out, to let him in. And the Council passed every one of them by. Not with malice, but with detachment. The kind of cold, institutional caution that mistakes distance for wisdom. In the end, the tragedy wasn't just that Anakin fell. It's that no one caught him when he was slipping. No hand extended, no words of affirmation, no honest conversation about his fears. Just silence, orders, and doors that closed when he needed them open. They thought denying him the rank would humble him. Instead, it broke him. And through that fracture, the dark side slithered in like smoke through a crack in the wall. One denied seat set off a chain reaction that ended with the fall of the Republic. Anakin Skywalker could have been the Jedi's greatest master. Instead, he became their final lesson. A legacy of what happens when you choose fear over faith. Thank you for watching the whole video. I make videos because of my love for Star Wars and Marvel. I've been asked countless times how I get my subtitles, and I generate them automatically with a tool I built. That same tool can be used here on my website. It's completely free and doesn't require signing up. My website contains the subtitle generator that is perfect for any video. Blogging post, where you can sign up with your email and receive notifications for when I post, and also my 3 channels. Critical Analysis Hub focuses on Star Wars and Marvel movies. Critical Analysis Hub Plus looks at Star Wars and Marvel shows. And Critical Analysis Hub XP centers on video games, like The Last of Us series, Jedi Survivor, and GTA 5. Thank you for being a fan.